think one of the most damaging pieces of modern advice is stop caring what others think. I don't think humans were ever meant to completely stop caring about other people's opinions. And I think a lot of people who try to become fully independent end up being emotionally disconnected with others instead. Now, obviously, being obsessed with validation is unhealthy. If you constantly change your identity around approval, you'll never be happy. But I think the internet took this idea and stretched it way too far. It's to the point where people say that the strongest person is someone who doesn't need any help at all. But the thing is, humans are social creatures. We care about acceptance. We care about belonging. We care about status. We care about connection. It's not weakness, it's just part of who we are. And honestly, a lot of modern self-help advice talks about how human emotion is some useless flaw that you need to eliminate. They say that if you still care about what others think, you haven't evolved yet. But we, as humans, are built on social connection. Of course we care about how we're perceived. I don't think the problem is caring what people think. It's caring what everyone thinks. That's where your identity becomes too malleable and shallow. Because there are lots and lots of people who do wrong every single day, and you probably shouldn't listen to them. Your identity could change constantly based on trends or validation or social media or fear of judgment. Your thought process goes from who do I respect to how do I avoid as much disapproval from others as possible. Because honestly, I think some people's opinions should matter to you. If someone you admire thinks you're being a bad person, that matters. If your friends think you're irresponsible, that matters. If people you respect think that you can do better, that matters. You should care what these people think of you. You admire them for a reason, probably because they have traits that you want to replicate in your own life. And so, if you want to become more like them, why shouldn't you care about their opinion? Rejecting external feedback isn't like a sign of confidence. It's just your ego talking. It's avoiding what you know you have to do. It's becoming emotionally disconnected from others, disguised as being a Sigma independent. I think the internet massively overrates detachment from our communities. On social media, you'll constantly see cut everyone off and stop caring. Sometimes, yeah, this might be what you need, especially if you're on the extreme approval-seeking side of the spectrum. But taking it to the other end, where you're fighting your natural instincts of community, is not helpful either. Because there's a difference between healthy individuality and emotional isolation. And I think we're confusing the two repeatedly. A lot of people have trust issues, and they believe that everyone in the world is evil. I'm sorry if you feel this way, but it's definitely not true. Humans need belonging. We need community. We need recognition. We need relationships. Often, we feel motivation from building something, from wanting respect, from wanting to be appreciated. It's not stupid. It's part of being alive. And if you're someone who thinks that being understood and feeling connected to others is a bad thing, click off. Your view might be a bit too cynical for my taste. I think the idea that you should become unaffected by others is not only unrealistic, but also unhealthy. When you consider how much you're fighting your instincts, it seems stupid to think this way. And honestly, this way of thinking has to do with our love-hate relationships with our depression. Specifically, if you've been or are depressed, it's likely become part of your identity that you are depressed. And when it's ingrained in your identity, facing it is far more painful than wallowing in it further. It means change, and change is difficult. So, the internet started romanticizing the idea of being alone constantly. I think a lot of people secretly want permission to care about what others think again. It nagged at the back of my mind that I was a poser when I was pretending to not care what others thought. It's just a trend. Because pretending to be independent is exhausting. Pretending rejection doesn't hurt is exhausting. Pretending loneliness isn't painful is exhausting. We all want to belong to something, and I think denying that part of yourself is the reason you always feel numb. My solution is to become selective. Instead of asking how you can stop caring what anyone thinks, you ask whose opinions actually should matter. Confident people usually do care what some people think, but not everyone. So no, I don't think the goal of life is to become someone who feels absolutely nothing. I think the goal should be to become someone who knows who they are. We should be choosing whose opinions matter. We should be choosing to stay grounded in our values. But all of this should happen while we remain part of a community. Because humans were never meant to live completely alone. And I think modern advice sometimes forgets that. Okay, I hope you appreciated my insights. Give this video a like if you think it deserves one, and thanks for watching. That was Justin, signing off.